What's good? What's cracking? It's your girls, Chris Jones, aka Killer Queen T, aka Blackout T, aka don't sit over there, sit over here. Go over there to get a chair, of course. But other than that, sit next to me, be my friend. Ooh. So of course, we is on chapter 4 of The Lightning Thief. Um, it's chapter 4. My mother teaches me bullfighting. We tore through the night along dark country roads. Wind slammed against the Camaro. Rain lashed the windshield. I didn't know how my mom could see anything, but she kept her foot on the gas. Every time there was a flash of lightning, I looked at Grover sitting next to me in the backseat, and I wondered if I had gone the same, or if he was wearing some kind of sharp shag carpet pants. But no, the smell was one I remember from kindergarten field trips to the petting zoo. Linonin from the wool. The smell of a wet barnyard animal. All I could think to say was, "So you and my mom know each other?" Grove's eyes fitted to the rearview mirror, though there were no cars behind us. "Not exactly," he said. "I mean, we never met in person. But she knew I was watching you." "Watching me?" "Keeping tabs on you, making sure you were okay. But I wasn't faking being your friend," he added hastily. "I am your friend." What are you exactly?" "That doesn't matter right now." "It doesn't matter. From the waist down, my best friend is a donkey." Grover let a sharp 30. Bah, bah, ah, ah. I heard him make that sound before, but I always assumed it was a nervous laugh. Now I realized it was more of an irritated belt. "Goat!" he cried. "What?" "I'm a goat from the waist down. You just said it didn't matter." Bah! "There are steros who would trample you under a hoof for such an assault." "Whoa, wait, steros? You mean like Mr. Barnum's myth?" "Was this old ladies at the fruit stand a myth, Percy? Was Miss Dobbs a myth?" "So you admit there was a Miss Dobbs?" I'm with him like I know we should be focused on what the fuck, like our lives are in danger. But wait, you admit that I wasn't fucking going crazy. That's all the fuck that matters. "Of course. Then why?" "The less you knew, the fewer monsters you attract," Grover said. "Like that should be perfectly obvious." We put mist over the human's eyes. We hoped you think the kindly one was a hallucination. But it was no good. You start to realize who you are. "Who are?" "Wait a minute. What do you mean?" The weird bellowing noise rose up again somewhere behind us. Closer than before. Whatever was chasing us was still on our trail. "Percy," my mom said, "there's too much to explain and not enough time. We have to get you to safety." "Safety for what? Who's after me?" "Oh, nobody much," Grover said, obviously still muffed about the donkey comment. "Just the Lord of the Dead and a few of his bloodthirstiest minions." "Grover!" "Sorry, Miss Jackson. Could you drive faster, please?" I tried to wrap my mind around what was happening, but I couldn't do it. I knew this wasn't a dream. I had no imagination. I could never dream of something this weird. I could. My mom made a hard left. We swerved into a narrow road, racing past darkened farmhouses and wooden hills and pick your own strawberry signs on white picket fences. Okay, y'all, my bad. I had to go. Help the kid out the shower. "Where are we going?" I asked. "The summer camp I told you about." My mother's voice was tight. She was trying, for my sake, not to be scared. "The place your father wanted to send you." "The place you didn't want me to go?" "Please, dear," my mother begged. "This is hard enough. Try to understand. You're in danger because some old ladies cut yarn." "Those weren't our ladies," Grover said. "Those were the fates." "Do you know what it means? The fact that they appeared in front of you? They only do that when someone's about to die." "Whoa. You said you." "No, I didn't. I said someone." "You meant you, as in me." "I meant you, like someone, not you. "Boys," my mom said. She pulled the wheel hard to the right, and I got a glimpse of a figure she swerved to avoid. A dark, fluttering shape now lost behind us in the storm. "What was that?" I asked. "What? We're almost there," my mother said, ignoring my question. Another mile. Please, please, please." I didn't know where that was, but I found myself leaning forward in the car, anticipating, wanting us to arrive. Outside, nothing but rain and darkness. The kind of empty countryside you get way out on the trip of Long Island. I thought about Miss Dobbs and the moment when she changed into the thing with pointed teeth and leathery wings. My limbs were numb from delayed shock. She really hadn't been human. She meant to kill me. Then I thought about Mr. Bonner and the sword he had thrown me. Before I could ask the Grover about that, the hair rose on the back of my neck. There was a blinding flash, a jaw-rattling boom, and our car exploded. I remember feeling weightless, like I was being crushed, fried, and hosed down all at the same time. I peeled my forehead off the back of the driver's seat and said, "Ow!" "Percy!" my mom shouted. "I'm okay." I tried to shake off the daze. I wasn't dead. The car hadn't really exploded. We swerved into a ditch. Our driver's side doors were wedged in the mud. The roof had cracked open like an eggshell, and rain was pouring in. Well, this y'all ain't dead. You know they can't die too early in the damn book. It's on chapter 4. True, but you never fucking know. You never fucking know. Anything can fucking happen. You know, Japanese love. This is a Japanese story. This is not a Japanese story. Because I was just about to say Japanese love killing off main characters. Tell me they don't in the comments. Try it. Say they don't. Because they do. Lightning. That was the only explanation. We've been blasted right off the road. Next to me in the backseat was a big motionless lump. "Grover!" He was slumped over, blood trickling from the side of his mouth. I shook his furry hip, thinking, "No! Even if you were our half barnyard animal, you're my best friend, and I don't want you to die." Then he groaned. "Fool." I knew there was hope. "Percy," my mom said, "we have to." Her voice faltered. I looked back. In a flash of lightning, through the mud-splattered rear windshield, I saw a figure lumbering toward us on the shoulder of the road. The sight of it made my skin crawl. It was a dark silhouette of a huge guy, like a football player. He seemed to be holding a blanket over his head. His top half was bulky and fuzzy. His unraised hands made it look like he had horns. I swallowed hard. "Who is Percy?" my mother said, deadly serious. "Get out of the car." My mother threw herself against the driver's side door. It was jammed shut in the mud. I tried mine. Stuck too. I looked up desperately at the hole in the roof. It might have been an exit, but the edges were sizzling and smoking. "Climb out the passenger side," my mother told me. "Percy, you have to run." "Do you see that big tree?" "What?" Another flash of lightning. And through the smoking hole in the roof, I saw the tree she meant, a huge White House Christmas tree, size pine at the crest of the nearest hill. "That's the property line," my mom said. "Get over that hill and you'll see a big farmhouse down in the valley. Run and don't look back. Yell for help. Don't stop until you reach the door." "Mom, you coming too?" Her face was pale. Her eyes as sad as when she looked at the ocean. "No!" I shouted. "You're coming with me. Help me carry Grover." "Fool," Grover moaned a little louder. The man with the blanket on his head kept coming toward us, making his grunting, snorting noises. As he got closer, I realized he couldn't be holding the blanket over his head because his hands, huge, meaty hands, were swinging at his sides. There was no blanket, meaning the bulky, fuzzy mass that was too big to be his head was his head. Ooh. And the points that looked like horns? "He doesn't want us," my mother told me. "He wants you. Besides, I can't cross the property line." "But we don't have time. Percy, go, please." I got mad then. Mad at my mother, at Grover the goat, at the thing with horns that was lumbering toward us slowly and deliberately like a bull. I climbed across Grover and pushed the door open into the rain. Okay, first of all, what happened to the doors? Okay, that's the driver. That's the driver. So is the driver's side popped in the mud, and so? Okay, so stop thinking too much. You know what this is? This is everything wrong with. This is their fault. I want to pass out sins and shit. We're going together. Come on, Mom. It don't work like that, homie. It don't work like that, homie. I told you. Mom, I'm not leaving you. Help me with Grover. I didn't wait for an answer. I scrambled outside, dragging Grover from the car. He was surprisingly light. But I couldn't have carried him very far if my mom hadn't come to my aid. Together, we draped Grover's arms over our shoulders and started stumbling uphill through wet, waist-high grass. Glancing back, I saw my first clear look at the monster. He was 7 foot tall, easy, his arms and legs like something from the cover of Muscle Man magazine, bulging biceps and triceps and a bunch of other seps, all stuffed like baseballs. Ooh, you know what? Right on, I appreciate that, because that visual I just created in my head. Nice. Under thin, webbed skin, he wore no clothes except underwear. I mean, bright white Fruit of the Looms. That was bright white? Which would have looked funny, except that the top half of his body was so scary. Coarse brown hair started at his belly button and got thicker as it reached his shoulders. His neck was a mass of muscle and fur leading up to his enormous head, which had a snout as long as my arm, snotty nostrils with a gleaming brass ring, cruel black eyes, and horns. Enormous black and white horns with points you just couldn't get from an electric sharper. I recognized the monster all right. He had been in one of the first stories Mr. Butter told us. But he couldn't be real. I blinked the rain out of my eyes. That's Poseidon's son, my mother said. I wish I know how badly they want to kill you. But he's the man. Don't say his name, she warned. Names have power. The pine tree was still very far away. 100 yards uphill at least. Oh, it's petty right there. I glanced behind me again. I swear to goodness, I want y'all to know that if this was the Bible, if this was biblical days, the main character wouldn't live. He didn't look back too many motherfucking times for me. Too many motherfucking times. You can't run. You cannot run away from anything if every fucking few minutes you're looking behind you. You're seeing the hills have eyes. What happened? Ended up cracking his fucking head open. He didn't die because the little girl watched over her. But all that running, looking back, you can't run. You ain't watching where you're going. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. You can die. The bull man hunched over our car, looking in the windows, or not looking exactly, more like snuffling, nuzzling. I wasn't sure why he bothered since we were only about 50 feet away. Fool, Grover moaned. Shh, I told him. Mom, what he doing? Doesn't he see us? His sight and hearing are terrible, she said. He goes by smell, but he'll figure out where we are soon enough. As if on cue, the bull man bowled in rage. He picked up Gabe's Camaro by the torn roof, the caress creaking and groaning. He raised the car off his head and threw it down the road. It slammed into a wet asphalt and skidded in a shower of sparks for about half a mile before coming to a stop. The gas tank exploded. Not a scratch, I remember Gabe saying. Oops. Oh, wow. Percy McMahon said, when you see us, he'll charge. Wait until the last second, then jump out of the way. Directly sideways. He can't change directions very well once he's charging. Do you understand? How do you know all this? I've been worried about an attack for a long time. I should have expected this. I was selfish, keeping you near me. Oh, but he your baby. Keeping me near you? But another bellow of rage. And the bull man started tromping uphill. He smelled us. The pine tree was only a few more yards, but the hill was getting steeper and slicker, and Grover wasn't getting any lighter. The bull man closed in. Another few seconds and he'd be on top of us. My mother must have been exhausted, but she showed it Grover. Go, Percy, separate. Remember what I said. I didn't want to split up, but I had the feeling she was right. It was our only chance. I sprinted to the left, turned and saw the creature bearing down on me. His black eyes glowed with hate. He reeked like rotting meat. He lowered his head and charged. Those razor-sharp horns aimed straight at my chest. The fear in my stomach made me want to bolt, but that wouldn't work. I could never outrun this thing, so I held my ground. And at the last moment, I jumped to the side. The bull man stormed past like a freight train, then bellowed with frustration and turned, but not towards me this time, toward my mother, who was setting Grover down in the grass. We reached the crest of the hill. Down the other side, I could see a valley, just as my mother had said, and the lights of a farmhouse growing yellow through the rain. But that was a half mile away. We'll never make it. The bull man grunted, pawing the ground. He kept eyeing my mother, who was now retreating slowly downhill, back towards the road, trying to lead the monster away from Grover. Run, Percy, she told me. I can't go any farther. Run! But I just stood there, frozen in fear as the monster charged her. She tried to sidestep, as she told me to do, but the master had learned his lesson. His hand shot out and grabbed her by the neck as she tried to get away. He lifted her as she struggled, kicking and plummeting in the air. Mom! She caught my eyes, managed to choke out one last word. Go! Then with an angry roar, the monster closed his... Why are you watching this? You gonna watch him kill him? Oh my goodness. Closed his fist around my mother's neck, and she dissolved before my eyes, melting into light, a shimmering gold form, as if she were a holographic projection, a blinking flash, and she was simply gone. No! Anger replaced my fear. Newfound strength burned in my limbs. The same rush of energy I've gotten when Miss Dobbs grew talents. The bull man bore down on Grover, who lay helpless in the grass. The monster hunched over, snuffling my best friend as if he were about to lift Grover up and make him dissolve too. I couldn't allow that. I stripped off my red rain jacket. Hey! I screamed, waving the jacket, running to one side of the monster. Hey, stupid ground beef! Rah! The monster turned toward me, shaking his meaty fist. I had an idea. A stupid idea. But better than no idea at all. I put my back to the big pine tree and waved my red jacket in front of the bull man, thinking I'd jump out of the way at the last minute. But it didn't happen like that. The bull man charged too fast. His arms out to grab me whichever way I tried to dodge. Time slowed down. My legs tensed. I couldn't jump sideways, so I leaped straight up, kicking off from the creature's head, using it as a springboard, turning in mid-air and landing on his back. Did you try to do that in your head? Did you literally try to spring off, jump up? I don't think I got the hops. That's what I think it is. I don't think I got the hops. I would jump up, and I'm short, so I don't got the hops. And I'm short, so that's why I won't be able to do that. So, but if you tall, let me know in the comments if you jump over somebody's head, turn around, and do all that kicking. How did I do that? I didn't have time to figure it out. A millisecond later, the monster's head slammed into the tree, and the impact nearly knocked my teeth out. The bull man staggered around, trying to shake me. I locked my arms around his horns to keep from being thrown. Thunder and lightning was still going strong. The rain was in my eyes. The smell of rotting meat burned my nostrils. The monster, it does. I don't know if you've ever been into like some place like, if you've ever been into like a store. No. That'd be petty. Let me just not say that. The monster shook himself around and bulked like a rodeo bull. He should have just backed up into the tree and smashed me flat. But I was starting to realize that this thing had only one gear forward. Meanwhile, Grover started groaning in the grass. I wanted to yell at him to shut up. The way I was getting tossed around, if I opened my mouth, I'd bite my own tongue off. Food, Grover moaned. The bull man wheeled toward him, pawed the ground again, and got ready to charge. Really? Bro, you had to ask for food at this moment? I thought about how he had squeezed the life out of my mother, made her disappear in a flash of light, and rage filled me like high altitude fuel. I got both hands around one horn, and I pulled backward with all my might. The monster tensed, gave a surprised grunt, then snap! The bull man screamed and flung me through the air. I landed flat on my back in the grass. My head smacked against a rock. When I sat up, my vision was blurry. But I had a horn in my hands, a ragged bone weapon the size of a knife. The monster charged. Without thinking, I rose to one side and came up kneeling. As the monster barreled past, I drove the broken horn straight into his side, right up under his fury rib cage. The bull man rusted and roared in agony. He He failed, clawing at his chest, then began to disintegrate. Not like my mother, and a flash of gold light, but like crumbling sand, blown away in chunks by the wind. The same way Miss Dobbs had bust apart. The monster was gone. The rain had stopped. The storm had still rumbled, but only in the distance. I smelled like livestock, and my knees were shaking. My head felt like it was splitting open. I was weak and scared and trembling with grief. I had just seen my mother vanish. I wanted to lay down and cry. There was Grover, needing my help, so I managed to haul him up and staggered down into the valley, towards the light of the farmhouse. I was crying, calling for my mother, but I held on to Grover. I wasn't going to let him go. The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looking up at a ceiling fan circling above me, moths flying around a yellow light, and the stern face of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl. Her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at me, and the girl said, "He's the one. He must be." "Silence, Annabeth," the man said. "He's still conscious. Bring him inside." So, was you finna knock me out? Like, what's up? What, homie? Okay, so the way I'm going to make a schedule, I'm going to make a schedule right here, right now. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep to the schedule, but it should not be hard since we only got, let me see, we got Left Behind, we got The Lightning Thief, we got The Fallen, and then we got our two animes, Dr. Frost and Melavina Therapy. Right now, I don't know, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you watched that video, but if you did watch Melavina Therapy, I don't know, I feel like she was on to something, but then somebody crushed her dreams and she went to the dark side and she ain't never came back. Now, Dr. Frost, him not having the feelings him not having emotions has never really worked against us. Like, so far, he been on the point, on the money, and solving people and fixing them and reading them. And him not having emotions has not really been negative impact. The Fallen. Oh my goodness. Like, what the fuck? I'm not even gonna stunt. Like, homie, he blowing me. Like, what is you finna do? He running around. He's scared of Frankie, but yet at the same time, he making it seem like, oh, he thinking about everybody else. He breaking up with Vicky, cussing out his mama. And I'm over here like, what the hell is we doing? Left Behind. And the crazy thing is, with Left Behind, I actually need to take a couple of days and hit y'all with a, nope, I'm not even finna do that. I was about to say I'm finna take a couple of days and hit y'all with a chapter, but I'm not. So, today is Tuesday. So, tomorrow, I will do Sisterhood of the Blackberry Corner. I'm hoping that I don't have to break it up, but most likely, if I have to break it up, then you'll get The Fallen, whether you want to or not, in the end of that. Y'all like, Squeeze, what the fuck you mean, whether we want to or not, do we not? Listen, we have not reached that point where I'm just like, hey, I'll read what you want me to read. Right now, I'm still at the point where I read what I want to read. I don't do this for the people. Now, if you want shit for the people, you go to the U.S. Outsiders, because they for the motherfucking people. They don't do it for her. They don't do it for him. They don't do it for the man down the street. They don't do it for the man in the wheelchair. They do it for the motherfucking people. Okay? Go over there. And drop it in their comments about how you appreciate them doing it for the people. Because I don't. So you think I do it for you, this is not the place to be. Petty. So anyway, like I was saying. But if I do have to split it up in two videos, so if you get two videos with the Sisterhood of Blackberry Corner, just know that most of it's in one and The Fallen is in the other. So that would cover that. And then I'm going to have to, I feel like I'm going to Dr. Frost, full of a Dr. Frost. Because did I do Dr. Frost? I don't know. I can't remember. Y'all know y'all excuse. What the fuck you mean? Did you read Dr. Frost? I don't remember. Okay, so I did read Dr. Frost. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not even gonna stop. This next one is gonna be the next one for Dr. Frost is gonna be is a filler, so a boat. How many more chapters I got? Ooh. And plus, I'm not even gonna stop. Mel Venus is almost over. Ooh. When I get to that one, that's gonna be long. That's gonna be like 2 videos. Yeah, excuse really? Mm-hmm. So that's gonna be a video, but then can I do no? Because the desire is gonna be 2 motherfucking videos. Okay, but I can make it work. Okay, I can make it work. And then so that's how we got. So for the next couple of days, don't expect anything. If it's not The Fallen, The Lightning Thief, Dr. Frost, Mel Levine's Therapy, or Left Behind, then I don't know what to tell you. It ain't from me. But peace. Leave a like, leave a comment. Do some shit for the fucking algorithm, because at this point I don't even know what the fuck to tell you. I'm saying leave a like, put him a thumb down, tell you leave a comment, put him a thumb up. I'm done. I'm out.